If it's hard to find, we can talk about whatever. Always a pleasure.
Okay, Carter. Warden Tom Gillespie. Authorization 12210. This is likely to be my final log recording. The riots that started in D block have spilled into A, B, and C blocks. I've ordered everyone to fall back to the shuttle bay for evacuation. It was prisoner D03118, Jasper Cricks, who led the revolt. His crew tunneled into the armory undetected, and then all hell broke loose. At the logs recovered, I urged the UC authorities to perform a full investigation. This Cricks undoubtedly had help from the guards and from the staff. I'm now heading to my personal escape shuttle and we'll try to jump out of the system. Wish me luck.
I like my weapons like I like my
Warden Gillespie, out.
Hello everyone, I'm Gail Dunnigan of SSNN, and this is Galactalk. My guest tonight is one of the most notorious criminals in the settled systems. His ruthlessness and desire for wealth has landed him squarely at the top of the wanted list for every major law enforcement agency in the galaxy. I am, of course, speaking of the self-appointed leader of the Crimson Fleet himself, Jasper Cricks. Good evening, Mr. Cricks.
Good evening, Gail. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
If you're doing any lifting later,
Yes, well,
I can spot you.
being blindfolded and then grav jumped to what appears to be an abandoned mining facility isn't exactly what I call an invitation.
Well,
I'm sure you're not surprised that your request for an interview would come with some very specific conditions.
Frankly, I was a bit surprised to receive any type of response at all. Would you mind telling me why you decided to do this interview?
Because there comes a time in every pirate's life where they have to make an extremely important decision. Do they take a leap and become one of the most legendary pirates in history? Or do they simply sputter on, subsisting on freighters and deep space privateers?
So are we to assume that you're taking the leap? That Jasper Crix is moving on to bigger and better things in his life?
That's spot on, Gale.
You see,
That's
sis,
exactly why you're here.
They haven't caught us yet.
Interesting. Well,
Ask
then,
Jazz
would you
about any
mind
ship of
sharing
yours.
with us exactly
Nothing
what
worse
your
than a
particular leap entails?
In due time. There's no rush. In fact, I'd say we have at least 12 hours before the authorities trace this broadcast. Plenty of time to discuss whatever you liked.
Oh, all right then. Perhaps the best place to start this interview would be at the beginning of your career.
Please, proceed.
Where did your stellar rise to infamy begin?
In the streets of New Atlantis. No parents, no godparents. Just a homeless punk kid robbing whoever he could for the credits.
Were these violent crimes? Murders?
I'm a bit offended you even asked that question, Gale.
What kind of name is
Sure, a few people here and there walked away with injuries, but I'm not some kind of butcher.
That doesn't sound as heartless as your reputation would imply.
Well, like I said, I was just a kid.
Were you ever caught by the authorities in New Atlantis?
Oh, dozens of times. I'd just give them a fake name, or they just slap me on the wrist and send me on my way. They obviously didn't think that I'd amount to anything, and didn't want to waste their time with rehabilitation.
What changed that? Was it the robbery in 2218?
2218. Oh, yeah. The Galbank archives. Very good, Gale. See, you've done your research. That would be when I rounded up a few of my buddies and we knocked the place over. Made off with a ton of credits. My first big score.
Is that why the Crimson Scar decided to bring you into their ranks?
That's right. They brought me in, taught me the ropes, and I did crimes for them for 5 years. Till I decided I wanted more.
Realize what happened?
I got rid of their leader, put myself in his place, and started running the show.
Dead to right.
I've been the one in charge ever since.
Was it absolutely necessary to cut his throat and leave the body on a public street in the well?
On the street, reputation is everything. I wanted everyone in the city to know that Jasper Crix was taking over. I think they got the message.
Last person who called me a liar, I cut off their tongue and glued it to a gospel.
So tell us about Jasper Crix's version of the Crimson Scar.
All I can tell you is that under my guidance, the Crimson Scar became more influential than every other syndicate combined. Here I was, 22 years old, and I had power, people that followed my orders, and an endless stream of credits. Gale, I have to tell you,
If you need credits,
I was having
hit up the
time
mission
of my
boards at
life.
the core.
So you'd consider extortion, robbery, burglary, kidnapping, assault, and murder to be positive life influences?
No. I'd consider them as just means to an end. Those so-called crimes were merely stepping stones until I had enough wealth to buy the Crimson Scar a few spacecraft.
Yes, let's talk about that. It appears you weren't satisfied with terrorizing New Atlantis alone.
Oh, I've never stopped reaching, Gale. The amount of money we were making in New Atlantis was decent, but the really big scores were in space and the cargo ships. We're talking millions of credits, maybe more. Who the hell could count it all?
Most people assume this is when the UC decided to actively set up a task force to pursue the Crimson Scar.
That's correct. Those idiots in charge of the United Colonies were clearly embarrassed that they had allowed the Crimson Scar to make the jump into space. They sent ships after us. Lots of ships. I almost think that they enjoy starting wars.
Perhaps
We call
this was the
UC
first time
systems
you had
sharks,
finally reached
but to
too
the
far.
fleet, they're just
You could
bait.
say that. I count my time running the Crimson Scar as a learning experience. I wouldn't say I reached too far.
Sharks are
I'd
too
say I
scared
reached
to
too
take
fast. Didn't cover all my bases, made some stupid mistakes. One thing's for certain, though. When I was finally arrested and thrown into the lock, I had plenty to think about.
If you want to stay under the radar, I've got just the thing.
Hey, Champ. I'm including this month's list of parts I need for the key. Don't bust a gut. It's hefty, but I know you can handle it. I'm gonna need a lot more than usual this time. I'm planning to overhaul the entire electrical system before it completely shorts out. Oh yeah, thanks for sending over the key's reactor specs. I can't tell you exactly why I needed those. Zell said to keep it hush-hush. As far as next month's shipment, start scrounging up some parts so I can spruce up our defensive batteries.
If I had a
They're
billion
looking kind of rusty.
I'd run my own.
Well, I guess that's it for now. I'll have my people in New Atlantis drop off the payment at the spaceport. Just make sure you aren't being followed. We wouldn't want the UC to know they're providing replacement parts to the Crimson Fleet.
Smuggling, stealing, pirating. There's a lot of ways to earn some scratch and a rep.
So wait, say that again. You think I'm home?
Stop playing games. We both know your real name is Lionel Soto, and you know why I'm here.
Who are you? Fleet? Ecliptic? An independent?
I've spent 2 long years and every credit I had looking for you, just so I could look you in the eye before I pulled the trigger.
Hey, what's with the gun? There must be some mistake. I honestly don't know who you are.
Of course you don't know who I am. You're never concerned with the death you leave in your wake, in your pursuit of greed. You killed my husband, you son of a bitch! And now I'm going to kill you!
Ah, such a terrible shame. All that time and money she wasted. Ah, well. Better get rid of the body.
Always listen to Delgado, unless you want to get killed across the key.
Hey, when this is all over, maybe we can talk about future business opportunities, yeah?
Don't challenge
Maybe.
Bud to five-finger
We haven't
fillet.
decided.
Guy's hands are made of
The hell you
cinder
mean
blocks
you-
and cigarettes.
Well, it's just, we were thinking. Why is it every time we go out and do a job, it's you who ends up with all our crates?
My friend's got a point, Bug. Every pirate in this joint comes to the Nova for a drink.
Seems to me, instead of trawling deep space for stick change, we got a much bigger target right here at home.
A lot of jingle in those pockets, bud. Could use a good shake.
Well, that's an interesting theory. But here's my take. First off, the credits you spend here go to the fleet, not to me, not to you. Second, if either of you bums lay a finger on those credits, I have Denver's express permission to blow your heads off and serve the gas as sushi.
You lost, Rook?
And drink.
Lost over by the back wall.
Captains get better.
I asked to do a job. Maybe a heist. Hell, maybe both. But first, another drink.
Soon, everyone is going to learn to feel it.
Yeah.
I used to work for seems like a different time.
Are you looking to start something? Cause I'll finish it.
Music in the know will get you in the mood for a job.
Kinetics, electromax, energy. Nothing to substitute for a shotgun blast in the face.
The fleet protects our home.
Always ask for a bigger gun. It's all about making those credits. Rook.
Bog's grog is fine if you like cheap moonshine. Give me an early brown
There you are. The hell took you so long?
It's about time. I was about to fly down and loot your bodies.
Not now, neighbor. Well, you said you found something. Hand it over. That's it? Just one slate? After losing so much of our crew, it better be a map with a big red X on it. Well, I'll be damned. Legacy wasn't referring to Crix's fortune. It's the name of an actual ship. A Galbank transport probably loaded with credits.
Never heard any stories about a Gal Bank ship going down. And even if it had happened, it would have been picked clean years ago.
No, neighbor. Think. If Galbank covered it up, and over time, the location was eventually forgotten, it wouldn't be on anyone's radar. Okay, this changes things. Now that we know what we are looking for, we have to narrow the search. Because they would be rolling in so much cash, there is no way they could keep it quiet. It's like hitting the jackpot. Not to mention, they'd need someone with Shinya skills to keep the crypto tracing on the currency clean. And as far as Galbank goes, I doubt they would bother. Their bean counters would be too busy weighing the loss versus recovery costs. Now, the legacy is out there, just waiting for us to find. I can feel it. And the recording that you found proves that it is out there. All we have to do is find it. Let us start with what we know. It was a Galbank ship, which means the company is going to have records of where it went down. Neva, weren't you working on a deal with Rokov? Something about a big-wig charity event on one of Trident's Starliners?
Are you serious? I've been working on that gig for 3 months. That's my score.
Ay, Dios mío. Will you shut up about your score and think for a second? That Starliner has a Galbank VIP suite aboard, which means... Come on, Neva. This isn't hard.
Which means a Galbank exec will be aboard. We grab their credentials and get ourselves into the Galbank archives in New Atlantis. Holy shit, that might actually work. I'll send a message to Rokov right away.
Pack your bags, Rook. You're going on vacation. And since you've earned it, take this gun with you. Might come in handy when Rokov screws everything up as usual. Rokov is... well, he's Rokov. A real pain in the ass. He used to run with the fleet until we kicked him out. Lately, he has been using his long-hauling skills to captain a Starliner for Trident. Gives us a contact within the company. He has been trying to get his foot back in the door with us for years. But I'm not ready to let him in just yet. Maybe you can use that to your advantage. It's not what you're thinking. It's more of an office than a bank vault. Once you're inside, you'll be able to gain access to one of their computers and find out more about the legacy. Good, because that is exactly what you are going to be doing. Neva and I are too well known to walk around the Starliner without being recognized. If Trident Security spotted us, it'd be over. I need you to board that ship, make contact with Rokov, and get me those credentials. You know what? I'm gonna leave that entirely up to you. If you think he's come through for us, you can promise him he'll get paid. But if he gets in your way, then you take him out. I see what you are getting at, Rook. And don't worry, I would ask the same thing. Just be sure to get those credentials. Anything else of value you find on Rokov's Starliner is all yours. You'd better. Oh, before you leave, I wanted you to know that I took what you said about Mathis into consideration, and I've decided to let him join the fleet. Because you're the one that finished the job. You followed orders, and you put your neck on the block to get that data to the key. As far as Mathis goes, I'm sure you had to drag him through the lock and prevent him from doing something as stupid. We'll see. That's it then. Next stop for you is Rokov Starliner, the Siren of the Stars. And remember, Rokov does not need to know anything about Grix's legacy. For now, it's just between us. Now get out of here.
Hey, Rook, before you head out, I need to have a word with you. Meet me at the last Nova after you wrap things up with Mathis.
of a job you did down there, Rook. Hell of a job.
I triple-checked my work. Last thing I need is an angry pirate on my ass telling me the intel sucked.
If you got any spare creds or just need to unload some junk, head to the depot.